Good.
Oh, good. I'm live. I'm live for last call. Today we've got the Dwight Eisenhower strike group moving closer to Israel. Elon Musk and Tucker Carlson say that World War III is imminent. We've got a super fog that's killed 8 people so far. Drone attacks in Syria, a little bit of sports news, some meetup stuff. And yeah, I've got all this and more on today's last call of the day. Let's go.
The growing calls across the nation to defund the police.
To end policing as we know it.
Off the charts violence in New York City. 11 people shot in just 8 hours on
This is
Sunday.
about the police officers who every single day put on that uniform and they run towards danger when we run away from it.
Guns up, giddy up. Welcome to Failure to Stop. This is the last call episode, 5 shows a week right here on the Failure to Stop podcast channel, starting every Monday with Uncuffed, social society and culture news, and then we've got Tuesdays with Jay Rama and John, a little true crime action, and then of course Wednesday political news. Thursday we've got Com Center, and Friday we've got case breakdowns. But today it's all about political news. It's all about what's going on. And joining me from the C- Network, got a couple of people in here today. Oh, we've got Tyler from Anti-Hero Podcast. God, Tyler, don't look like such an asshole. Jesus. Did you just wake up or something? Hang on, let me unmute your mic. Did you just wake up?
Yeah. No, well, kind of, yeah.
You look like
That's why I wear sunglasses all the time, because I just have droopy, groggy eyes.
just bags under your eyes. Jonathan, how are you today, sir?
Oh, terrible as always. How are you guys?
Oh, good. Hey, it's always a good day when I wake up and John hasn't killed himself.
It's always a surprise too, isn't it?
It's like one of those things where, like,
more surprised than me after a night all night long awake, listening to my revolver in my nightstand screaming at me about what a coward I am, that I've even managed to wake up in the morning. So trust me, no one is more put off by this than me either.
Oh, it's so good to have you guys here, man. We got a lot of things going on in the news. Are you guys ready for World War III? Is this something you guys are ready for mentally?
I've been ready for that for the last 10 years of my life. So
I'm just too sad that I'm too old to be drafted, so I'll have to fucking sign up like a chump.
Do you feel like, I know that like in the conspiracy world realm that, we talk about like that we're all like in a simulation and we kind of like create our own like Sims, like our own Sim City in our minds. Like, do you ever feel like you've created this? Like, was this something you fantasized as a child of, kind of like that whole Wolverines experience where the Chinese invade us and then you get to live out? Like, does anybody else, or is it just me that feels like we're starting to live this?
Feels inevitable. Yeah, Tyler.
I don't get the whole we all create the sim, like you talk about like almost like the movie The Matrix, where like
yeah, like what I'm saying is, like, when you were a kid, did you kind of see yourself in a World War III situation when you were older, like fighting the Chinese or the Russians?
I saved all my CDs from like high school because I was like, when it happens, I'm going to be the guy with music, right? When we find a way to plug in a CD player and everybody hasn't heard music in like 4 months because we've been fighting World War III, and I'll be the DJ. I have all this all planned out.
What CDs do you have? Like, what, like for the World War III, for the ending days, what CDs did you choose?
Probably going to stop at new metal because I started buying digitally. So, but I kept.
Yeah, but listen to a nice Linkin Park album on CD.
Bro, do you remember when Linkin Park came out? I was a freshman in high school, and I thought that was like what changed my life musically. Well, that and Janie's Got a Gun from Aerosmith, but that was in elementary school when I heard that. But like the second biggest impact, like musically, my life's ever gone through was that Linkin Park album, that first one. I was just like, what is this?
Yeah.
And by the way, I did see Limp Bizkit live before, back in the 90s. Saw him live.
Before Fred Durst killed himself?
Fred Durst didn't kill himself, John.
I know. He's like the only one who hasn't. Every single band that I like has like somebody in it who's dead, like Chester Bennington, first of all. Yeah. But Chris Cornell killed himself. Scott Weiland from STP killed himself. I don't have any music left to listen to because there's nobody left alive.
4 of the 5 major grunge bands, all the singers are dead.
Well,
So
yeah, Kurt Cobain, obviously, yeah.
The only one left is Pearl Jam singer, whatever his name is, Eddie Vedder.
Do you think Kurt Cobain would be? Do you think Nirvana would be as big as it is today if Kurt Cobain was still alive?
Well, that's a question that's actually addressed in my script for a screenplay that I've written, where someone tries to travel back in time to prevent the formation of the Foo Fighters by stopping Kurt Cobain from killing himself. So hopefully we find out in a major motion picture. I got 20th Century Studios kind of interested, so we'll see.
Do you come up with this shit on the fly? Or
I have written a screenplay. That is the joke.
When I watch on Tuesday nights, first off, I have to figure out if you're fucking joking or not, which your tone, I can't half the time decipher if it's a joke. And then I don't know if you have this shit in the chamber or if this is off the cuff.
Bro, I don't know what's like more annoying is like trying to have a business text battle with John. John's the kind of guy that I just don't even want to text him. Like I just want to go right to the phone call because I don't know what tone he's texting in and I don't know if he's serious or he's not serious. Like I'm telling you, I'm not even joking. When my phone dings and it's like Drew Breezy or somebody like that, I'm like, this is either going to be something that somebody needs for the podcast or John is no longer with us. Either way, I'm prepared to deal with it.
Well, the not knowing where I'm coming from too has really made it hard to reach out to Eric for help because he's, I always just say, Eric, I've got to talk about this. It's eating me alive. And he just texts back, LOL. I get nothing.
He'd be like, yo, before you do it, can you just handle this one thing real quick? Make sure it's done.
Yo,
Eric, you want to know if he's joking or not. He told me last December that if I kill myself, that I need to call him first so that he can listen to it. So.
Well, I hear all those dispatcher stories. Like every dispatcher in their first year listens to somebody kill themselves on the phone, and that's one thing that's one PTSD box I haven't checked. You know, I've checked a lot of the other boxes. I haven't checked that one.
Dude.
So,
Eric, I'm kind of surprised you haven't heard someone kill themselves on the phone. You call a lot of people, so I figure it's got to happen eventually.
Dude, that's got to be the new opener, John. If you do it, call 911, and then the recording of that and the revolver gunshot will be, and it'll be like 3, 2, 1. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Can you believe it? I shot myself in the head, and all I got out of it was being blind.
Listen, which brings me to my next point. Don't kill yourselves. If you got a problem,
we should have said that. Yeah.
Don't kill yourselves and don't call me about it because obviously I am not prepared to get you through that. But there are people who are. Matter of fact, I'm working right now with Heather Redden. She's been in our chats. I didn't know this, and I gotta find some more details. I just haven't had the time to call her. But there is a civilian. They go to like nationwide training. Like they went to training in Texas, but they were like 24-hour retired cops that will answer the phone. They don't ask you like who your name is or where you're at or anything like that. And you can talk to them about suicide or whatever. But it was like a band of retired cops that were like, dude, it's bullshit that cops can't go and talk to anybody without fear of getting fired or losing their jobs. So I guess there's like this super secret squirrel, 24-hour a day, like they're on rotations or shifts, but they're all retired cops all around the country. So it was a program that was started in Canada, which I think is, I think I'm right on that. I think they said it was started in Canada, but I thought Canada was like pro killing yourself.
If you pay money.
That's the ultimate Obamacare up there. They sell it down here like it's definitely a good thing. We cover all these single moms, but eventually Obamacare is just like, yeah, I've got a fractured hip, and they're like, well, we could put you on a 18-month waiting list for this nice plastic hip, or I could just go ahead and euthanize you. The euthanasia line is shorter. We get through that one pretty quick. So
don't be selfish to your family.
Or your people either. Yeah, they
Yeah, your friends and family deserve better. Nobody wants to sit and watch you rot away and change your fucking diapers. Come on. Go out with remember what was it, Last Samurai? Where they stab themselves and then you cut their heads off?
Harikari, is that what that's called? Seppuku?
Yeah. Yeah, they stab themselves in the gut. Have you not seen Last Samurai, Tyler? Oh, it's a good movie. Yeah. Very good movie, I thought. Did you see it, John?
I did, and I once one time on a call, I forgot to send an ambulance, and I told my boss that just to restore honor to the agency, I had to kill myself, and he said I couldn't do it because I was on the schedule for the next week. So
It's always a schedule conflict with you.
I
It's always
know. I
something.
never have time to kill myself. I'm so busy. I don't even have time. Like if I went on vacation, if I ever took the time off, like that's the end of me because I would finally have time to catch up on all my pressing business.
Well, listen, you guys might be getting these little childhood fantasies that come true. The Dwight D. Eisenhower strike group has moved through the Atlantic and on their way to Israel. This is the second carrier strike group to get involved in this mess, which brings us to, I mean, I don't know how much people trust Tucker Carlson or not, or if they trust Elon Musk or not. But Tucker Carlson and Elon Musk, not together, but separately at the same time, have had their own little Tanstradamus predictions that World War III is now imminent and that Israel will get involved. I find this interesting only because when I was doing my Tanstradamus predictions, and I don't want to let the cat out of the bag on how I do that, how I foresee into the future, and the orbs that I talk to, and the sorcery stones that I hold on to. But Tucker Carlson did have a Tanstradamus prediction that we would be at war with Russia within a year after Biden being in office. And he was pretty fucking close. Nobody's got anything on that?
That's good. Wait,
That's great.
that's awesome.
That-
You're saying that you called that? Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is, no, I'm just saying that I have Tanstradamus predictions and they come true, and you should always come to me to hear your future and your fortune. But Tucker Carlson is somebody who I look up to who has the same gift and abilities that I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said he doesn't. He made it very clear that he's on X, but he doesn't work for Elon. And it's like you said, they have some kind of agreement or contract where X is his platform.
Right. Well, I mean, Elon put it out, and I read that from a Forbes article, and then the Newsweek 90, the newsletter bulletin of the week was Tucker Carlson's talking about how World War III is imminent. I don't know. I mean, I definitely feel like war is in the air. How do you feel as a street cop? I mean, do you feel it out on the streets?
Well,
Is it affecting you at all?
No, I could give, I'm like John, man. I died a long time ago. Now I'm just waiting for it. Now I'm just living my life. But like, America's always going to sharpen its spear. We always have to at least fight in proxy wars. Look at the 90s when we didn't go to war at all, and look how fucking fucked up we got in OIF and OEF. I don't think that they'll ever let that happen again. On top of that, the war machine is always full of money. So again, I think we'll at least enter another proxy war soon. But World War III, I mean, yeah.
I think it's most of it's all a distraction from our toppling economy, and then our open borders, our massive open borders, which, by the way, I mean, being you're a cop in Florida, I mean, do you guys feel the effects of the open borders down there?
Yeah, I'd imagine so. I mean, Orlando is, there. It's how do you put this? There's entire streets of illegal Mexicans, and it's not that they're any worse than anybody else. It's just they all stay together. And if you get a call to one of these apartment complexes, you know that everybody's illegal. The liberal left side of policing wants you to ensure them that their status as an illegal alien will have nothing to do with their police services that they'll be getting for that day, which is true. I'm a cop. I'm here to help. My job ain't to.
Well, the cool thing about the Mexican community is when they do call the police, they're pretty much all in on who the asshole is. So when you get there, everybody's got their story straight, and they want that guy fucking out of there and deported anyway. Like, as a community, it's not like when you go into the inner city, like into the ghetto, into the hood, where it's like nobody saw nothing. Ain't nobody saying nothing. Yeah. I ain't call you. Yeah, you did. Like, it's right here. I ain't called the police, but the police. I'm like, no, like 6 of you guys called. I ain't seen nothing. Nah, he good, man. He good. You go to the Mexican community and they're like kind of quiet, and they're like, you're like, is that the guy that you guys called about? Yes. Does he need to go to jail? Yes. Did he hit that woman?
Drogas? Yes.
Drogas? Oh, yes.
Pistolas? No. Drogas?
Do you use heroin? No. You sell it? Yes. You sell it. Yes. But yeah, I always like going in the Mexican community because it's like they, because we had the same thing set up here where it's one apartment complex. It's just all Mexicans. But when you did get a call there, they were all like,
Yeah,
That's
and it's
him.
always a glass bottle to the face and a lot of blood. And one guy,
dude, so much blood all the time, and it's
And,
like misty blood because they've been shredded with the broken glass.
and they're not only is there a language barrier, they're all highly inebriated and they can barely get sentences out, and they can't do statements. Victims can't tell you what happened because they're fucking hammered drunk.
You're like, did he stab? Did he stab her? Who stabbed who? Cervezas, yes, cervezas. You're like,
And then you'll turn around and the 7 people that were there are gone because they went inside.
But what I really like is the cowboy boots. I'm a big boots guy. I don't own any cowboy boots, but I love looking at another man's cowboy boots. I mean, call me gay if you will, but there's just something about a man in cowboy boots. I just want to stare at his boots. Is that gay? Probably.
Yeah,
But Mexicans have the best cowboy boots. They're the best cowboy boots. We got a super fog thing that happened. I don't know what's going on with the whole super fog thing. By the way, guys, the reason why we're kind of loosey-goosey and we don't have Deadleg here and it's not as newsy as usual is because Deadleg Media, who does all of our news research and writes the script for this show, he's in Florida getting ready for our big throwdown meetup, which Anti-Hero is going to be there. Dude, we're going to do a lot down there. That live show, are you pumped about that live show or are you nervous about it?
Well, when are we ethically supposed to start drinking?
I will
Right
probably,
now, as far as I'm concerned.
I will probably crack my first beer when the last microphone cable is actually plugged in. I know that Elijah, the underpaid producer, is flying in. I know Deadleg's flying in, and they're going to be like super squared away with it, which is great. Because when I work for Drinking Bros, bro, like one awesome company, love the Drinking Bros, but like that's their name and their brand is Drinking Bros. And I was always kind of like the guy. It's like, I don't know how to set up the mixer, but I'm sure that dude over there just took like 3 shots and ran like 6 lines of blow. So who's setting up the mixer? I don't think we're going to have that kind of thing going on here. I'm just kidding. They didn't do that crazy drugs, but I mean, they were wild. It was crazy. It was a lot of fun. So I'm excited to actually go to a meetup where there's 2 producers that will pretty much have things kind of locked down. So I'm going to pop a beer pretty early. Is that what you're?
Hey, that'll be your nickname, Papa Beer.
Pop a beer.
Papa Beer.
Probably be popping a beer pretty early, and then and somehow we got a carpool over to the meet and greet. But I know there's going to be a lot of people at this thing, and we're going to be on the stage. So get ready for that.
I got 1 DD. How many cards do you think we'll need?
I don't know. There'll be a lot of first responders there, like probably over 100. I would imagine probably closer to 150 first responders in the crowd. I'm sure that I'll be able to find a ride with somebody. But no, I'm just kidding.
Who's the least drunk person here?
Which one of you is a drunk state trooper? Because I know we're not going to get in any trouble. So yeah, that'll be a good meetup. And it'll be really fun. But we got the super folk things going on right now too. Listen, by the way, with the World War III thing, there's been a whole bunch of drone attacks, I guess, going on in Syria. That isn't anything new. I know that we've seen this in the news. A lot of cops have reached out to me, and I've seen a lot of TikTok videos. Oh, it's going down. World War III is definitely happening. There's drone strikes in Syria. Listen, my business partner's been going back and forth to Syria for the last 10 years. And I'm sure Brent, your partner, first responder coffee company, I bet you he's got at least 6 tours in Syria. We've been fighting in Syria for a hot minute. So
do you think Syria is just for our interest, or do you think Syria is actually Syria is a place that needs to be tackled for the safety of the world? What do you think?
Well, I think all of that. I think all the area over there. I mean, I think Afghanistan was definitely probably the most strategic spot on the planet Earth. And you had access, you had quicker access to all of the Middle East, Iraq, Syria, Egypt, and everything. But as far as stability goes, Afghanistan is a great fortified place for America to be. And And I think we should have stayed in Afghanistan. There was some stability to the region. We hadn't lost anybody in like 2 years. The last 2 years that we were there, and I think we only had like a couple thousand troops there anyway. But I mean, Afghanistan's impenetrable. But Syria, I think, is one of those places that you have to keep your thumb over them. It's like you can let your 3-year-old or your 2-year-old play in their room by themselves, but you have to keep opening the door every 5 minutes, because if you don't, at some point they're going to be sticking something in the light socket or, trying to crawl out a window. I think that's what we do with Syria. I think we just kind of like keep propping the door open to make sure that they're not fucking around, because they have access to the rest of the Middle East as well. So, and I think everybody wants Syria, not just us. Like Lebanon, like I think a lot of people strategically want to be involved with Syria. So, and you have all the warlords like Hamas and Hezbollah. Hezbollah is huge in Syria. So I don't know, but I'm not really buying the fact that this whole Syria thing is the end of the world. We've been having drones attacks over there. I am a little bit nervous because Tucker and Elon both warn of World War III. And I think that Elon Musk probably doesn't have terrible intentions. Like what would be his intent of saying that we're closer to World War III? What's in it for him? I think he's just a weird dude that gives us free information.
Well, we did just launch the first world's electric battleship, so I mean, it could be that. I don't know.
Again, I don't know.
Never mind.
Kidding. Is that real?
No.
Okay.
The real thing that's
the first Tesla carrier.
Yes. Well, I mean, actually, it's the catapult is electromagnetic now, but I don't think Tesla makes those. The real problem in the Middle East is reinstating Obama's nuclear deal with Iran. We're giving them a certain amount of fissile material that they say they want to use to make nuclear power plants with, which we hate so much in this country that we shut them down. And Texas is freezing and things like that because we're making them resort to wind power, and California has no power at all. But when Iran says, we want nuclear energy to bring our country into the 21st century, we'll say, well, yeah, we're all about it. Never mind that they're refining that uranium to be weapons grade, and they can use that to make nuclear weapons with. You take a country like Iran, they're a true rogue nation. They truly don't care. They don't value lives in the West. If they get nuclear weapons, particularly look at Israel. Like Iran does not love Israel. And if they're a full-blown nation with nuclear powers, I mean, it's not only going to change the way that we do war in the Middle East because we're dealing with a nuclear power, but all of a sudden Iran, this really bad fucking country, I mean, they can get on the UN Security Council, they can do all these things because they have nuclear weapons. And the Obama regime, and by continuation Biden, they're just a bunch of fucking chumps, and we give them all kinds of money and all this, and they use it to fund Hamas, and everything's our fault pretty much because we don't have a cohesive strategy for dealing with the Middle East, because every 4 years or every 8 years it changes. And these liberals still, it plays directly into their benefit, but they still have this idea that they can appease people, that if you just give people, if you just send food to North Korea, it's not going to go to the despots in charge, it's going to go to the people or whatever. They seem to think that other countries think like they do, and they don't realize that power in Iran and power in North Korea are above all else, and they think they can placate them, and they're fools, and they're going to get us all killed.
And I think we're kind of baiting them into do that. Like Secretary of State Blinken mentioned the other day that if Iran keeps doing these proxy attacks, and any of these proxy attacks on Israel resort and American soldiers being fired upon or anything, that we're going to retaliate and we're going to defend our security swiftly and decisively, was Blinken's quote on there. Which is kind of like, I feel like we're putting all those carriers and we're putting those 2,000 the Marine Expeditionary Unit guys all in place. And it's like when you surround it, like these rockets, I don't know if you've ever been like involved in a rocket attack. I was literally one night on an observation post with another dude. We were there for 12 hours. We ended up being there for just about 24 hours. But one night we were taking several rockets, and it was extremely scary. And we were calling on the radio. We were like, yo, so I don't know who knows that we're here, but they're like rocketing us. And then what they came back with was, no, they're not rocketing you. They're rocketing the U.S. Embassy, and they're just overshooting it. and the rockets are landing out where you're at. And I was like, whoa, like either way, somebody come get us. And they're like, it's just safer that you guys stay right where you're at and stay low and
calm
stay on.
down.
So
You're just in the backstop for the bombs. It's
Yeah.
not you. Don't worry.
it's not you. Like, it's not personal.
Well,
It's not you.
did you guys notice? I mean, being in the first responder world in the last like what 10, 15 years of our lives, and and then going on to a more perfect, like doing stuff like this, right? You do have to worry about the perception of, going viral because you said the wrong thing. But Eric, back in the military, do you remember, like, I only say this because my last episode where me and Brent talked on Anti-Hero, me and Brent talked about the Israel or Palestine conflict.
Right.
Brent was saying things, and I was going to create clips, right, for YouTube.
Yeah.
I can't post this. I just can't because it's truthful, it's factual, it's what everyone's
Why couldn't you post
thinking.
it? Like, what was he saying?
Because he was being factual about Muslims. And I saw the problem where if I put when Muslims,
like Islamophobia kind of deal.
Yeah, and what label? Because I mean, when we were kids in the military, what do you think? What do you think we should do with the Middle East? Make it a giant parking lot for the rest of the world, right?
Oh, for sure.
Problem solved.
Yeah.
You can't
But I
say
mean, when
shit
you
like
go
that.
over there, when you're there and you see, like, when you take in kind of the culture and how they behaved, you have sheep, humans, and they're amazing people, and those are the ones that you see us with pictures. You know what I mean? But they're unbelievable sheep. They are so scared to do anything. They wear the right clothing. They say the right things. They do the right prayers because they live in fear, and they've been doing it for hundreds of years. And those are the sheep. And then you have everybody else, which are the thugs and the rich people. And they're the ones that are controlling everything. So the photos that you see the troops with are these people who live in these outskirts and these villages who literally just survive to be their own person. A lot of them have never really ventured outside of their compound. They don't have cars. They have to take taxis to and from the cities. But in the cities where there's actual infrastructure, it's completely overran by radical Muslims who do not value life. You remember Aladdin, the movie, the Disney movie Aladdin? Remember the song at the beginning of Aladdin, Street Rats, with the street rats and all the kids running around? Bro, they don't value their own children. Like, when people are talking about the dead children in Hamas, I'm like, dude, I guarantee you that most of those kids don't even know who their mom and dad really are. Like, they're just sent out to be street rats. They steal all day long. They run around all day long. And I don't know that they even know who owns them.
Yeah.
Life is like that. Sorry, Tyler. Life is like that in other countries. We like to think that everyone is like us, and I don't want to dehumanize other places, but I was reading about the history of like North
But you don't
Korea.
have to dehumanize them, but they will absolutely dehumanize
Yes,
you.
yeah, but I'll make a point here. Like in North Korea, when we had soldiers over there, I read the definitive history of the Korean War, and our soldiers were really put off by the fact that you would see a family traveling on a cart, and all their stuff was yoked to an ox, and they were pulling a cart, and the soldiers would be like, they've been displaced, it's so horrible. And then one of the kids would fall off and get run over by the cart, and the parents would be like, well, that's one less mouth to feed. And that was their fucking attitude. I'm sorry to say this, but like, there are parts of the world where they don't value life like we do. It's simply true.
Yeah, I mean, I remember one of the first things I ever saw when I landed in country in Afghanistan. The first thing I ever saw driving down the road was there was a woman pushing a wheelbarrow with a dead dude inside. And she had like this stoic look on her face. She wasn't sad. She wasn't angry, but she was just pushing a wheelbarrow on there. And like, nobody gave a fuck. I was like, yo, y'all, does nobody see this? Like, am I crazy? That's a dead body inside of a wheelbarrow, with like the limbs like kind of dangling out of it. Nobody seems to care. Like, nobody's even looking at it because they're so used to seeing that kind of thing that, it's more or less like a dead dog on the side of the road. Speaking of which, when somebody dies on the side of the road, they got to be buried within 24 hours. They don't have driver's license. They don't have identification. So somebody piles rocks on them on the side of the road and then puts a flag out. And your dad just never comes home. Like, he's just a pile of rocks on the side of some fucking cliff that nobody knows. Well, isn't that great? Was it like that in Iraq?
I was going to ask you, you went only to Afghanistan, or did you go to both?
No, I just went to Afghanistan.
Yeah, Iraq was it's the same thing. if a car gets shot to shit or blown up or is used to blow something up, that car, you'll run your routes and you're like, that car is going to be there forever. Like no one's coming to move. They don't have wrecker services in Baghdad post fucking invasion. You know, it's weird. They did the same thing with bodies, man. I remember like kids would come out. I would do convoys and kids would come out and they'd throw rocks at us. They're being mischievous. They're not, you know, they're doing the same thing as like what we would do, you know, to like prank somebody. But they kept hitting our gunners with rocks, and the gunners, I was one of them. And they were like, we told chain of command, like, this doesn't warrant, you know, I'm trying to think of the word excessive force, but that's cop word. Lethal force, but they're hitting us with fucking rocks. And
it hurts.
They loaded us with rubber bullets for the 12 gauge. And our last truck gunner, you hear boom, like that weird pump sound because it's not a buckshot. And then we never had rocks thrown at us again.
Dude, we actually went into a village and it was like just at the beginning of the winter, and so it was just starting to snow, and we ended up having like a little snowball fight with the kids. It was pretty cool, and we ended up sleeping out there in that village and running ops at night out of that village, and so we were all just kind of hanging out, and so the next morning we're like kind of getting ready to go and giving out some candy and stuff, and this kid, there was some goats like way out, and this kid like tugged on my shirt and like pointed to the goat, and this goat was like 100 meters away. And he had one of those David and Goliath slings, and he started slinging that rock around, and he let that thing go, and it hit the fucking goat in the ass, and that thing took off. It was the most, I was like, dude, if he did that while you're in a gun turret, it would kill you.
Yeah.
If he slung one of those rocks, that thing, it would kill you.
One thing I do want to say is I read all these comments, and they're fucking hilarious. And I don't know how you guys do this because I know
do it. Read some comments. Are there some funny ones?
Eric's a giant piece of shit. He ignores you. I don't. I read them. Yeah, they're pretty good ones. I just
go ahead, read them. If they're so good, and you're paying so close attention, then read them.
I have to either listen to you talk or read them. And if you see me crack a smile, it's because I'm reading the comments.
Dude, because Deadleg's not here today, it's just me. Like, I'm all out of sorts. I'm not used to doing this much on a laptop. John, you're part of the fucking show, dude. I don't know. You and I don't have a thing together. Sorry. We don't have like, I can't look at you and be like, John, bring this up for me. I can tell Deadleg what to do. Deadleg's like my sub, and I'm the dom.
Okay, I was about to offer my help, but now that you said that,
I know, right?
Help you.
John goes to offer you help, and you decline in the most fucking asshole-ish way.
Who wants to be my dom today? I mean, who wants to be my sub today? Actually, we just had a debate about like subs are dominant. Is like somebody that was like a trending thing on Twitter. Like people trying to say like the real dominant person in a relationship is the person who is the sub. I was like, not a fucking chance. Subs be bitches.
Are we ever going back to the fog? Because I don't even know what that is. I never heard of that.
Yeah, we'll get to it. What are the funny quotes? You know, you had something funny. We all stopped.
What are the persons?
We all stopped for you.
We were talking about Brent, and somebody said, "Oh, you can't believe that Brent dude because my buddy Neil Rob said so," or something like that.
Oh, Rob O'Neill joke. Okay.
And then somebody brought up the Gulf of Tonkin for Vietnam, and they're like, that sounds a lot like what's happening. And it fucking sucks because these people, like, they bring up such good points. And in order to have a good podcast for them to listen to, you can't stop and engage all these comments. So I just feel
I've got a good one here, though. Michael Hendricks says he doesn't like Black Rifle Coffee Company. If you're talking about the coffee company, the casting company, then I'm cool with it. If it's the casting company, it's cool with it, but there's too much BS about Evan Hafer for my liking. Listen, I've worked in and around that whole community of all of those guys. I've been on a phone call with Evan Hafer, and privy to a phone call with Mike the Cop and Evan Hafer. I will tell you that if there's anybody that's more misunderstood than Evan, you can't fall for mainstream media trying to attack somebody who's doing something amazing. I mean, Evan Hafer completely moved into the coffee world and into the mainstream coffee world, and everybody was at his throats, and they did some crazy shit to slander his name that wasn't true. They blew things out of proportion. The whole Kyle Rittenhouse thing got blown out of proportion. And that was all mainstream media trying to play psyops with everybody. And it was incredible to me how many like, do you know what Evan Hafer has done for first responders and for veterans and for Second Amendment people from all over the country? Like the amount of comedy, the effort, the shit that they've done without making a single dime and getting paid for it. Those dudes were the OG grinders. Like, listen, there's very few.
Was that
companies,
a coffee pun?
Yeah, it is. There are very few companies who started out like they developed that way of branding where they're the ones that made funny videos. Nobody else was doing it at the time. They turned those funny videos into shirts. Nobody was doing that at the time. And then they took that whole brand, Article 15, turned it into a coffee company. And not only did they turn it into a coffee company, but they did it into a fully veteran funded and supported coffee company. And now they're like one of the largest coffee companies in the United States. So, I mean, you got to give the guys some slack, and you got to be careful with the rumors that you hear about Evan. But, those guys did some very funny, silly things. I know that they were like, well, he paid money to the Hillary Clinton campaign. Oh, one, it wasn't really that much money. And two, he lost a fucking bet. Like, it was a comedic bet. It would be like me telling Tyler he's got to donate money to the Foreign Legion. Not the Foreign Legion.
Yeah, if you guys are mad at Evan
VFW.
for having to donate money to Hillary Clinton's campaign, I guess you really hate Lázaro Lopez, who has a Hillary Clinton tattoo on his body.
What are their guys that got Hillary Clinton's baby tattoo on his leg? Like a childhood photo of Hillary Clinton tattooed on his leg, because that's what they do. They're funny, and it's for comedy, and it's to keep people. But listen, it's hard for me to hate on Evan, especially because that dude is pulled in more directions. A lot of these guys are like that, man. Like Nick Palmisano. I'm working a lot with Nick Palmisano almost weekly at this point. And Nick Palmisano, I mean, dude, he's on a plane every other day. I'm starting to get to know Tim Kennedy's life a little bit better through Nick Palmisano. These dudes never stop working, and it's to serve other people. But everybody wants to hang on just a few words that they say and shred them for it. I'm guilty. I didn't agree. But I am guilty. There has been things that Tim Kennedy has said in the past that I didn't agree with. I don't know that I publicly said them out loud on the show. People took out of context what I said. There's a perfect example. People take what I say out of context all the time. But man, these guys do so much work behind the scenes just to bring value and entertainment. And they're constantly asking, well, like, what kind of value does this bring people? I hear it all the time from Nick.
Well, first, Eric, I need you to take a breath. That was about 4.5 minutes. Black Rifle Coffee Company.
Simping.
So if you want to just easiest solution, if you're confused, just go to First Responders Coffee Company. Boom. There you go. Same cause, same great people, same great, the donations, everything. It's a little bit smaller, so you can kind of feel like it's your own, but I know there is a lot of, and Brent getting with them helped clear the air for us too, because Evan had a call with Brent and said the same things that you said when he's like, we're misunderstood, and then Brent ate crow and went live on Instagram and said, hey, I fucked up, and listed every single thing that the Kyle Rittenhouse thing. All Black Rifle said was, hey, we're not going to get involved until it comes out, until the facts come out. And they said, because that's like people getting it, like giving their opinion on a police shooting before they know the facts, right? We don't like it when they do it. We're not going to do it. That's all they said. And so, yeah, you're right.
So basically you took a stand like, let's wait for all the facts to come out, and everything shit the bed when that happened. We may know how that goes around here.
Yeah, we may have said a few things. And Dustin Heatherland does need to be a guest. We've had Cody on here before, Donut Operator, been on Florida Stop. But yeah, he's got to be on the new Florida Stop for sure. And, I'm in contact with Jared Taylor quite a bit, but that's mostly through my children's skateboarding careers and Snake Farm, the skateboard company that they got going on. They're actually doing a demo down here in Fayetteville, so we'll see what's going on with that. But yeah, First Responder Coffee Company and First Responder Cigar Company, which will be represented here at our meetup, right? You guys bringing some cigars and some coffee or no?
Unfortunately, I don't know if Brent is coming. Brent himself personally,
because he's out saving the world.
I don't know what he's doing, bro. I haven't talked. I have his texts are going through green right now. I'm assuming it was gonna be I'll just post this on our Patreon, right? He was like, hey, what I'm going to do is on our Patreon, post where I'm at, right? And I was like, damn, that's awesome. And then everybody on Patreon's like, where's Brent? And I'm like, hey Brent, where are you? And there's no response. So last I heard, he was in Argentina. I don't know what he was doing there.
He's trying to find Hitler.
He found Hitler's brain. Good job.
And he had to pick between 2 contracts. And one was, obviously, you could probably, if you have a brain and you're listening to our conversation for
an Israel contract. Like I know like 2 dudes had just left on a contract to go get some people out of Israel.
And the other one is in a completely different place, has nothing to do with international conflict. It has to do with local things. Yeah, I don't know if Brent's gonna be there. I don't think he's gonna be there. Actually, I can pretty much tell you, Brent's not gonna be there. But
yeah, but I mean, are you not gonna bring anything? Like you're not gonna bring some
stuff? Yeah.
Bring you some shit.
It's just hard with Brent, man. I like filming is even hard with Brent. It's just I would be the first one to tell him. His schedule is fucking off the chain. He runs he's got people that work for him that keep the operations going while he's off saving the world like Batman.
Tell me how that goes.
How his coffee company?
No.
Well,
being so busy and having other people run your shit.
I have 6 kids. I have a fucking podcast.
Man, I can't empathize with this guy at all.
And I have diabetes, and my blood sugar is always in the 800s.
You don't want to, you don't want to invest in somebody that's probably not going to be around for much longer. So,
yeah. Let's go on to your super fog thing before
Bye,
you guys,
everybody. I'll mention you in my note.
Crucify me. A Louisiana super fog. What do we have? What is the Arctic blast called, John? When we have like those Arctic blasts?
That's a flavor of Powerade.
We call it that is. We also call it polar vortex too.
Polar vortex, man. Like nobody had ever heard of polar vortex until like the Jesse Smollett thing came around, and then all of a sudden it's like polar vortex, climate change, polar vortex.
We had heard of it up here a few times. I had a few friends who fell in the cold. So
yeah. And now we have. Well, have you ever heard of super fog? Super fog.
This is the fog that turns people inside out, right?
It turns you gay.
Oh shit!
The super fog turns.
Dude, I can picture Eric in 10 or 15 years being the new Alex Jones, just a shaved head.
The super fog turned you gay.
Target failure to stop's just like shut down from every fucking network.
I swear to God, the super fog's run by the government. And when you get in the super fog, you start looking buttholes. It makes you fucking gay. Louisiana super fog, aggravated by marsh fires, led to a pileup of 158 cars just west of New Orleans on Monday that killed 7 people, injured at least 25. By the way, this is from Reuters. Is that Reuters? Everybody corrects me.
Reuters.
Reuters. I mean, it sounds
and a disease.
It sounds like a disease. Sounds like a pill. Like a prescription.
Ask your doctor about Reuters.
Ask your doctor about Reuters if you suffer from anal hemorrhaging.
If you suffer from Reuters, ask your doctor about Reuters. That's a good advice.
Injured 25 people and left a string of crumbled and charred vehicles on a bridge over a lake. Marepas? I don't know. At least one vehicle went over the edge and laid sideways in the water. Have you seen pictures of this thing? Do you have any pictures, John, that you can bring up of this thing? This is insane.
If I'm your sub, I guess I'll go work on it.
Yeah, why don't you be a good sub boy and get me some wrecking carnage?
This is why I'm never on the show in the morning. I'll try to Google Louisiana super fog.
Next time,
I'm going to send you a picture of the color gray, and I'm going to post it.
Listen, next time you come in your show, I want you with a GIMP mask, because that's what Deadleg does for me. He shows up with the gag and ball, and he only takes it out when I tell him he can take it out.
Pretty gross.
He's awful. A good sub. He's a good sub. Now here's my big question about this super fog. One, what the fuck is a super fog? That's my first question. And I guess the answer to that is that it's fog mixed with fire smoke. I feel like we're in an unprecedented era of dealing with fire smoke. Where are all the fires coming from? And why has this been the year of fire smoke? And I get it. There's a lot of conspiracy theory talk on TikTok about all of this stuff. It's now starting to get to me. because I'm like, yeah, what is going on? Why are we so affected by fire smoke all around the United States right now?
Didn't you say that it was like an all-women's Canadian Fire Brigade that caused it?
Well, that was the fire. Yeah, that was one fire that they put that shit to rest real quick. But yeah, it was a lesbian, bisexual, transgender
Guys, this is a
firefighter
super
conference,
fog.
and I'm not kidding.
I know it looks like regular fog. But this guy,
Oh, you can totally tell that's super fog. Look
guy
how
could
complex
barely
that
even-
fog is.
that ambulance is going code 3. It has to drive at maximum speed to even just move at all through this dense super fog. You've heard people say fog is like soup. This literally is. It's choking people to death. Full on super fog.
So the term super fog is described by fog enhanced by smoke from damp, smoldering organic material. According to weather services, it can lower the visibility less than 10 feet. Now, I know for a fact that this definition came out like this week, because when has there ever been smoke and fog mixed with smoldering wet organic material? Like, they literally just made that up for this event.
It sounds not particularly bad. It's like they need something to talk about, and I guess there's not a hurricane right now.
Super fog. Listen, I'm gonna put this image up since you picked like the dumbest image of all time to put up.
Well, I'm
I'll
looking
just do
for
it
other
myself.
ones. Sorry.
I've got it. I don't know how to do it.
You don't
But
know
I'm
how.
about to figure it out, because I got a really good picture here. And it's and add background. Is that where I go? Add background.
I don't know.
Nope.
Fuck
Yeah.
you, Eric.
I'm
I'm gonna do
looking
it.
for other super fog
I'm gonna do it,
pictures.
dude. I've got the best one here, and it took me like 5 seconds.
Okay. Well, I guess
And-
you're your own sub then.
Nope, never mind. Can't do it because I saved it as a web PG and not a
Yep.
PNG DMG. So
Okay,
anyway,
so I found a second one that kind of shows how bad it is. So just for comparison, this is the first one, right?
God, that is
So
some
do you want a
super fog, dude.
Okay, and here's how it looked 1 second later. Slightly more foggy. It got even worse. So before and after, it's really bad, guys.
That ambulance hasn't moved going code 3 too. Man.
No,
Listen.
it's very slow.
Go to the wreck. I don't need to see the
All right,
super
I'll get
fog.
the wreck. I'll get the
But
wreck.
there's a
all right.
picture of the wreck where this truck is in the fucking river, and it's
I
like,
got it.
how did
got
he get into the river? Here's the big takeaway from the super fog. It's not really about the super fog where they 8 people who tragically lost their lives in this thing, which is crazy to me.
I wish
that
I'd
many
known
people
about 8
died
people
in the
before I
super
made a
fog?
joke.
Who takes that wreck report?
Probably the highway patrol.
And how, like, I mean, is that just your career? Is that like your career? Is that like your last call of the day for like the rest of your career?
You mean because you're so busy, like writing reports after this, that your career?
Well, I mean,
career
I
is just-
suck at doing rec reports. And I don't know, like, listen, it's got to be the same for most of you guys, right? Don't you have to have like first incident, second incident, third incident, like what leads to what? You know, first event, second event. How do your rec reports work?
Oh yeah, that one I would quit my job if I had to do that.
That's what I'm
I don't-
saying. Like, look at this
I
picture and
haven't
tell me
done it.
who's got to write that. It would take your whole career to write that.
Who's primary on this call? Yeah. Everybody runs away.
Everybody puts their thumb on their finger on their nose.
Hey,
Stop it.
yeah. You just start passing out statements like, whoever's alive, can you just fill this out?
Yeah, just like no fault, like contributing factors, super fog, but it's not one of the options. So you send the report up and they're like,
Sarge. I'm gonna put in
nope,
super
it was
fog."
not. The contributing factor was not fog. It was super fog. You're going to need to fix that. And you're like, yo, there's no super fog. And they're like, well, you need to figure that out. Call the tech and get it added, because this wasn't fog. This was super fog. And talk to cool dude in the chat.
And of course, every PD, if it's super fog, which means it's probably a federal thing, which means they can get FEMA money for their giant crash. And
Nice.
we gotta put in a
Nice.
special code, so we can get money. Like when we have hurricanes here in
Promo
Florida,
code super fog.
when we have hurricanes here in Florida, right? We'll go on full rotation where every cop works every day of the week, and it'll be like a mild tropical storm, and Florida gets to reap, or that county gets to reap all the FEMA money. And they know that. They know, they can tell coming in a day and a half out, this is not going to be a hurricane. but they make us all come in and they play the whole thing. I think partially because they do want the practice of running the entire EOC, doing everything, and that's fine to do those dry runs, but
nobody wants to be the guy that like you don't do it and then the fucking thing ramps up overnight and becomes a super storm, a polar vortex hurricane, and then they're like, well, why didn't you have anybody ready to go? Speaking of promo code SMOG for your accident, while I'm doing this ad read really quick, John, the Great Smog of London in 1952 killed 4,000 people, coming from Tactical Dude in the chats. By the way, Boo Boo Fuckface says he needs some Jameson in his coffee. I just wanted to read that because I appreciate that. I think we all want a little JMO in the coffee this morning. Brought to you by ghostbed.com/Wolfpack. Everything on the store right now, 50% off. That's 50% off across the board. So if you're coming down to Jayville, Florida, pillows, you want a pillow? 50% off. You want to take the cooling sheets with you and the bed topper so you don't have to lay on the bed bug infested hotel sheets, 50% off. Right. So hint there, Tyler, I did get you guys a hotel, but I'm pretty sure right now, like half of it's being renovated for bed bugs. So
nice.
I've slept on worse, man.
I'm just kidding. I'm hooking you guys up.
No, you know what, dude? I'm really shocked. John, your ad reads are phenomenal. I mean, they're almost better than Eric's.
I learned from him. I listened to him for a long time, and I just kind of try to do it in that Tansy style. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you do Tansy style. You just do it better. Yeah. 50% off across the web. Promo code Wolfpack. Go to ghostbed.com/Wolfpack. We also got officerprivacy.com. That's Tyler's favorite company because Tyler's been saving up his money for officer privacy. Tyler's the kind of guy though that will not have officer privacy, and I'm guarantee you Tyler's gonna smoke somebody, and then he's gonna be like, "This is fucking bullshit. Everybody's coming to my house to protest. Can't go to the fucking gym. Can't go to my podcast studio. I'm so famous now. I wish I would have had officerprivacy.com. I wish I wouldn't have been so cool.
I wish I had listened to John.
I wish I would have left those sleeves on my shirt and got officerprivacy.com.
Wish I had taken off my sunglasses before I fucking shot that guy.
That's why, man. No one knows who I am.
Yeah, but they know who you are with the sunglasses. If you would have shot him without the sunglasses, nobody would recognize you once you put the sunglasses on. You're like Clark Kent.
That's true.
Nobody knows who Clark Kent is once he has his fucking sunglasses, his bifocals on.
I shot the wrong person because I was wearing sunglasses.
Oh, fuck. Sponsored by Ray-Ban. But head over to officerprivacy.com/Wolfpack. And then I guess we got Manscaped back for the holiday season with the new Manscaped 5.0. So get ready for those ad reads coming through the holiday weekend. But promo code Wolfpack still good, whether we do the full ad read, because I don't think they have a full ad read for today's show. But you can still use our promo code over at Manscaped.
What is the difference? How do they change a ball trimmer to where it's like 5?
Well, the original Manscaped ball trimmer was not water resistant, so you couldn't use it in the shower. And then they upgraded, again when they got the anti-nicking technology squared away. You know those things that they cut your cast off your arm, where it doesn't it's like a saw, but the saw won't cut your skin. So it's pretty terrifying. But now they have that, and then they added the light, and now it's water resistant. You can shave your nuts in the shower with the light.
In case you're out of power during a hurricane, but you gotta shave your nutsack.
You gotta shave your balls. What do you want to do? Plug in your fucking nutball shaver and then have it into the shower with you? It seems
the latest one. You turn it on, you let it go a whole round. It will actually map your testicles, and then in the future you can use the app to select the areas you want to shave. You turn it on, you set it, forgive it, and it goes back to its charging dock when it's done. It's amazing. Guys, we have the technology. The only downside is that because next to your Wi-Fi, the Chinese may be having a map of your balls. So
go to manscaped.com and use the promo code Wolfpack and get you a discount on your ball shaver. All right, what is going on with this fucking, before we get out of here, we got 5 minutes left of this shenanigans. What the fuck is going on with this Great Smog of London? It's better be worth it, Tactical Dude. I swear to God, if we do all this research and this Great Smog killed 4 people, not 4,000, I'm never going to read your messages.
There you go. It looks just like our super fog, except it's slightly more British.
It's got a thicker accent.
The guy's got a real British hat. That's how you could tell it's not in New Orleans. Other than that, it's pretty much the same.
Pretty same fog. Is it true that 4,000 people died in this super fog?
I've heard of it before. I'm pretty sure that a lot of people died. But do you want to do late breaking news from 1952 or like what is this show?
Yeah, I gotta know. I mean, 4,000 people seems like a holy shit. The
Why
Great
don't you?
Smog, which blanketed the British capital for 5 days in 1952, is estimated by some experts to have killed more than 12,000 people and hospitalized 150,000 animals. 150,000 people, and 1,000 animals also died. What was it?
It's nuts.
Mystery of London fog that killed 12,000. Was it the weather machine like going nuts?
I have no idea. Well, I
Have
mean,
you
that's
ever
probably
heard of
something
this?
you should do it on TSI probably.
I've never heard of this. How have we never heard of the London fog that killed 12,000 people?
That's pretty nuts.
Hang on. This is USA Today. The decades-old mystery of what caused a killer fog that claimed the lives of thousands of people here appeared to have been solved by a team of international scientists. Thank God. The Great Smog, which blanketed the British capital for 5 days in December, we already read that. 150,000 animals died. No,
How does
that's not true.
fog kill animals?
During a cold snap on December 5th,
Guys,
sulfur particles.
This is the Chicago Bears playing on a very foggy day. So holy fuck, it's endless, guys. Look at how foggy it is.
How many people died in the Chicago Bears?
I don't know.
Super fog
They're
game.
playing the Eagles though, so hopefully nobody survived.
So I guess during this cold snap, sulfur particles mixed with fumes from burning coal made a yellow fog. It smelled like rotten eggs. Some Londoners reported that they were unable to even see their feet. Transportation was canceled with the exception of the London Underground. Birds flew into buildings and robberies increased as thieves were able to make an easy getaway. Jesus. Wow. Jeez. Well, I never know that. Well, okay. You're redeemed there, Tactical Dude. You're redeemed.
Very
That was a cool fact that I really wanted to know on a day like today. I guess this is it. Because I mean, what time are you leaving in the morning? Why are you muted?
He's here. I'll unmute him. Go ahead. Somebody should unmute him.
I don't know how to unmute him. Why is he?
Tyler, using hand signals and semaphore indicate what time you will be going in the morning.
Unmute yourself. You're muted your own fucking camera.
You have to unmute your own self. You're still muted. I think he's going to go at 9. Tyler, nod your head if you're going at 9.
Oh shit, there it is.
What is wrong with you? Have you ever podcasted before, bro?
I set up so fucking quick to do this that I forgot to hook up my wire, and then I moved my hand and I unplugged the mic.
What time are you getting in tomorrow?
I was thinking like 1.
That's what time I'm getting in. I'm
I
gonna try to be there by 1.
I gotta set up the refracted wolf setup. We got 3 new designs that I wanna put out. So
are you gonna sell some shirts there?
Hell yeah, man. That's my main man pajama, man.
That's your main man pajama?
Yeah.
Is that one of your shirts that you're wearing?
Yeah. It's
nice.
It's a Reaper shirt.
A Reaper shirt. Well, I'm gonna get a shirt while I'm there. I encourage all the other people that are going down there to get it there. We miss Deadleg immensely, but Deadleg is doing the Lord's work down there in Jacksonville, Florida for us. So we appreciate it. Tyler, John, thanks for joining me on this shit show today. Now I get to go pack for the rest of the day. My kids are doing an interview with Gwar. You guys ever heard of the band Gwar?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very intense. They're like a satanic blue man group.
You know what? You're the second person that said they're satanic. I did a lot of research because I don't want my 10-year-old to be, I'm not selling my 10-year-old soul to Gwar or to Satan, but Gwar is more of an alien thing than a Satan thing. Am I wrong?
Well, aliens are created by Satan because God created the earth and put men on it. And then obviously all the side projects are work of the devil. So
okay.
That pretty much solves that. Tyler, do you agree?
Yeah, that's actually, it's not a lie. That's actually factual. So Gwar is Satan. And now you're going to expose your children to Satan.
Yeah. And then they were like,
I sold my kid's soul to the Satan again.
They were like, are your kids going to stay for the show? And I'm like, I don't know. But I guess there's a new Gwar skate deck out by Volatile Skateboards and Volatile Merch Company. And Volatile Skateboards sponsor my kids. And so they're going to release this new Gwar deck tonight in front of Gwar. And my sons are going to try to I guess my sons are like doing an interview or like some kind of a, I don't know, Instagram-y skit or something like that. And Guar's going to eat them or something. I don't know what's going to happen with it. Hopefully it doesn't scar my children for life. And then my kids end up, dark and soulless like John up here, where I'm just always on the edge of my seat on what they're going to do next. So John, if you're still alive by when we get back, look forward to seeing you on Thursday night.
My therapist, I make no promises. I never see you again. Who knows?
We're going to really just don't do it. Don't do it this week because nobody can cover for you on last call.
It's the only way to make people happy to see me is if they constantly think that that every time they see me is the last time. It's the only way I can make anyone ever happy to see my face again. Because it's always like, oh, I thought you were dead or about to die, but I'm still here. So
yeah. It's like Britney Spears. Like every time I feel like I have to watch every reel because it could be your last.
Do you think it'd be unsensitive if we actually did a pool for when John takes his own life?
Oh, you guys you're in a long line on that one. Good luck.
Well, I mean, I feel like it's going to come like a thief in the night. I think it'll be like, you'll have some like biblical undertones.
That you picked. We can get everybody involved, everybody that listens to it. We can get, and everybody can pick a day of the year, right? And John,
here's the problem with that, Tyler, is that I'm also such a bad driver that I'm texting and driving at like 95 miles an hour. There's also, I mean, is that a suicide that I'm just so bad at driving? Because like I've been in a car accident this year. I mean,
I'm sure that COVID's claimed a car accident life, so we can just change your death status to suicide.
Okay. Well, hey, I'm worried if you change it that they'll change it to a COVID death. So I mean,
somebody in the chats started talking about X-Cops, the band. It's a 3-piece band. What's like? Why are they X-Cops? Are they X-Cops or are they like anti-cop or like what is X-Cops? You're the band guy, fucking anti-hero. Do you know,
Chris?
X-Cops. I mean, according to Wikipedia, since our band guy, anti-hero podcast, Mr. fucking rock and roll, doesn't fucking know. X-Cops is a side project composed of members from the heavy metal band Gwar and their extended family of musicians. Each member of X-Cops performed in a police uniform and had their own character. They released the album You Have the Right to Remain Silent on Metal Blade Records in 1995. The album included a cover of Deep Purple's Highway. You know about this?
No, but I get what they're saying is that they would perform as cops. They weren't really cops.
Right. X-Cops opened for Gwar in 94, essentially opening themselves as every musician in Gwar either played an instrument or so Gwar opened for themselves just in a different costume. Dude, I'm telling you what, that band, like the more I research on Gwar, like they are really they're really into like the whole artistic. They create their own uniforms, write their own scripts, make their own comic books.
Well, their lead singer, that was their singer for decades, just recently died.
Oh, that's why they got the new guy.
Yeah. So
Otis Armungus was the one that died.
I don't know.
Did that just happen during the podcast? Is that why you didn't mention in the beginning when we were talking about all those others? Is it late breaking news? Another singer has killed himself.
Guys, did you hear about the singer of Gwar?
Last call, all the breaking news from 1952 to present. But anyway, yeah, I guess Chris, I mean, I don't know how much time we're going to have with him. Like it's pretty unorganized at this point. I originally thought it was supposed to be a podcast with my kids. By the way, go follow them, Grommet Vomit Podcast. They were JB2, the counterpart of my son, was down in Tampa Pro, and they had Bam Margera on and a bunch of other people on. So it was pretty cool. But this was supposed to be a podcast with the kids. But maybe Gwar doesn't know what a podcast is because like the show starts at 6 and they're like, yeah, we got an interview for you guys at 6 back in the dressing rooms. So I'm like, okay.
Well,
so I'm guessing it's not going to be a podcast.
No. I'll tell you. No. So what happens is the show starts at 6, right? But that's not going to be Gwar.
Right.
And those guys are so seasoned. And I'm just telling you, this is how musicians work.
Yeah,
when headliners go on, they'll interview up until 10 minutes before the lights shut off.
Oh yeah.
They don't need like 2 hours to prep.
No.
So
should I bring like any podcast equipment or should I just do it on video camera?
You should probably bring them like a basket of muffins or some fried chicken or something.
Or a severed head.
I mean,
I never know if you guys are serious or kidding.
Don't come empty-handed, Eric.
Now I'm nervous. Like this is behind the scenes, but
children.
Should I bring the podcast stuff and do a podcast, or should I just do like an Instagram reel?
No, you should. If you're gonna meet Guar, you should go all in. The worst case scenario, they're like, "Oh yeah, we're not doing that." You leave your podcast stuff there, and then you do Instagram or whatever. But you should go all in. You should bring all your stuff.
Okay.
Set it up. Be a pain. You know, have the roadies like carry your shit around. You can scream at them. They're used
No
to
roadies. Well, I mean, the cool thing is my shit will all be packed because of the trip for tomorrow. So I'll have everything packed up. But that is going to be weird bringing all that gear and equipment in. All right. Well, I'm going to see what I can do. Get it lined up, I guess.
Hell yeah.
I'll be here. Maybe I'll see you, and maybe I won't.
Maybe you won't. Maybe you
Is
won't.
that it? Is this the last one, John?
I don't know. I've been drinking Dayquil this entire time, so we'll see.
Until next time, guys. Tyler from Anti-Hero Podcast, John from Night Shift, True Crime Tuesdays, and Com Center. And what else do you do? Make all of our reels, do all of the creative shit. Comedian, whole 9 yards. Until next time, guys. We'll see y'all.
Bye.
Guns up, giddy
Yeah.
up.